to Lee.
All right, congratulations. Welcome to the Fantasy Trail.
No.
This is a very special episode. Special by meaning we're 2 days late due to the elections.
It just took Mike 2 days to get here.
I'm feeling kind of lonely. I'm here by myself.
You were invited.
I was invited.
Just want to be clear.
No, I was graciously invited. But having a family and 2 little kids, and this was.
And you had to take out time to go to a bathhouse, from what I hear.
I think it's pronounced book fair.
Book fair.
All right, so let's start off. My team sucks.
Oh,
and
come on.
I'm
no, Mike, I hope you understand. I'm going to pull this up every once in a while.
Yes,
we're still going. Okay,
man, I'd like to speak about your team sucking now.
I'm close to not making the playoffs.
Okay, but I do want to actually make an argument right now. JT and I have been here for a little while. We've been having some conversations, and we were talking about perhaps scoring ourselves in a different. I'm pretty hostile today. Scoring ourselves in a different manner and what it would be like without the score.
Yeah, we were saying you'd be up top.
I were roughly looking at it, and we still have you at the top. And I do understand that you're on a little bit of a skid, but it doesn't mean you're Matt, by your argument, I have a better team than you are.
No, I understand. Because every time I lose, I put up a top 5 score.
Yeah, just to be clear, you would have gotten a win and a loss this week based on the scoring method we've been talking about.
Based on the old scoring, and I hate to make this a campaign for
in all my losses this year, I've put up a top 5 score.
Yeah, that was our argument actually. You're a top 4 score this week. You would have beat the majority of the rest of the league. You'd
like to think though, Matt, and perhaps after our election, this isn't the best way to put it, but the best will come out and the best will prevail. You're a team that scored very well, and that at some point or another, this will just be the case that you'll do well and make the playoffs.
I think you're going to make the playoffs. I'd be surprised if you don't. But you caught a rough one this week. You ran into Richard. Mm-hmm. Who has not actually been playing well.
Been on a skid, if I'm correct here, sir.
And if I'm looking through explosion from Jimmy Graham, a multitude of one-handed touchdowns. He then had Mike Wallace catch a 95-yard touchdown.
Those one-handed touchdowns without being the college star or something that I don't know. Never mind.
Yeah. And I mean, outside of that,
Boone Trail Playground, obviously.
That's it. Yeah, a good game from Beckham, but nothing extraordinary. A good game from Ryan.
No.
But again, Ryan's been scoring very well as well.
Considering where Beckham has been, it was a great game for Beckham.
He's been up and down. I mean, against me. You're right, though. It's his second best score of the week.
Matthews did well.
Yeah. Listen, you didn't put up a bad score. He just put up a great score. That's the way I see it.
Matt, I'm not trying to tell you this, but I'm convinced you'll make the playoffs, and I'm convinced you'll do well. If I had catch a hot week like I did the last time, I'd crush you.
No, that's fine. I'd also argue this, buddy. Your loss was the result of you losing 2 of your top 3 picks, and he lost 1 receiver that he might play.
Okay.
You replaced Christine Michaels 6 with a David Johnson 25. This is a significantly closer game.
Yes.
And if you don't listen to the idiocy of me and take out Devontae Adams and put in Michael Thomas,
and although Ryan has been good, he had a great week. But this has to be.
What's that?
Literally 10 minutes before the game.
I can't imagine
I was watching
me about anything.
Fantasy football, no. Now, I was looking at their rankings.
The man's a fool.
Yeah.
The man's a fool.
Documented. Well,
for the fantasy trail, JT and I are just getting together. We're going to watch the end of the game here and talk some election. We had some fun tonight.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Some people had more fun than others.
Love you guys.
But seriously, Tamala, I think that you're fine. You caught a rough week. You're never going to have some of these players.
Hey, while you're on this, I just have an interesting little tale to tell. Could you imagine there's another Green Trail League? One man is 8-1, and the other man is 1-8. And you're looking at the two, and I'd like to predict you, JT, right now, just subjectively, to predict who is 8-1 and who is 1-8.
I don't think this is a hard guess based on the way that you set this up.
I won't mess with you anymore, and he might be 2-7, and I don't know.
Regardless, I feel okay about you, Tamala. Let's move let's move to another game.
All right. Let me pull it up. I was just bitter.
All right, I got it.
Jake and Colin. Close game.
What's that? Colin and
Jake and Colin.
A dagger for Jake.
Yes.
He went into Monday night, or was it Sunday night, the Oakland-Denver game?
That's Sunday.
Remember?
Night.
Sunday night.
Okay.
Oh, our mistake.
He went in needing from Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were told that you needed 11 points and the Oakland offense scored 30, I mean,
I have an argument right now, and this, again, it's been discussed before, but I have a genuine argument right now where when we talk about most valuable player, we're not talking about the best player. You're going to say Tom Brady, and I'm going to say the very close second is Derek Carr.
And yet he scored 7 7/10 of a point. It's absurd.
I looked at the box score and I didn't see that till now.
But
scored 8 points.
Okay.
But at the same time, I mean, you had to expect that against Denver.
But they scored 30, Matt. 30 points.
But you can run on Denver.
Dude,
Denver's not a good run defense.
Being bad against Denver doesn't mean that they scored
I'm saying,
nothing.
but I would argue though, Matt, that Derek Carr has been rather consistent.
And I would argue this, Matt, that outside of one time as a quarterback every single week against Denver. I'm looking at it right now.
Would you mind just Matt, I'm not trying to say anything, but he's had 1 week at 10.8 and
everything else is above 11.
Is above 20.
I mean, listen,
I don't.
It's an anomaly.
Give him 20.
I think you would have expected closer to 15 against Denver.
15 would have been, gets the win there. I would have felt really good as him going into that. I would have felt really disheartened by that loss. That's a tough one. Dude, the two starting running backs for Colin combined for 0.8 of a point. Combined for 0.8 of a point. How does he win?
How does he play Derrick Henry?
Have an alternative. I think we were looking at this last week saying he was in trouble. Who else was he going to play? I guess Alfred Morris. Worse than Morris. Henry actually played pretty well on Thursday night.
No, Derrick Henry hurt himself, and it was a 4:00 game, wasn't it? He hurt himself in pregame.
Yeah, I'm not.
So it's 4:00. Yeah, now you're even more of a pinch, though.
Yeah,
I feel that you
Morris was
make
one.
our argument burn.
All right, so let's move on to our next game.
Okay,
and that is going to be Brian against Casey.
One of the weirder games. I texted Brian trying to get an explanation for why he ended up with 2 blank spots.
Yes. I mean, is he that in love with the people he has? What was your what did you get as the response?
His semi-valid argument was that annihilated with buys this week. True. He was more concerned with getting Gostowski and Sammy Watkins with winning this week. He felt that long-term that was more beneficial to him and that he had absolutely no chance with the squad.
Is there anyone we see right now who you could say, JT, we drop tonight? Yeah, okay. I vote Gostowski, clearly.
I think that would have been the one. I'd argue that's the one, but otherwise, I don't know. I mean,
Sammy Watkins?
Well, that was who he picked up. He thinks Sammy is going to be his big playoff push, sleeper.
He has one of the things I'm going to say is just looking at the standings, though. Does
He
he
has a
have room to
cushion.
take a loss?
He's got a 3-game cushion.
Yeah.
And Matt, I think never done this because I'm too anal about it. Brian might actually be smart, but I've seen too many surprise victories where something happens and he could have won.
But I mean, I'll say this: like, I thought about not playing a defense this week. I really didn't want to drop Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Then Seattle became available, and it made it a little bit better.
And that's the point being is that there's always a better alternative. The only argument I could make is
not for the long run.
Willing to.
But no, okay. So the Cardinals are a top 4 defense, or they were at the end of the week.
Okay, we'll take it.
Where the Seattle's a top 9 defense. I mean,
how many point difference per week do you think that really makes?
It's like 3.
Because Arizona had one big week.
I suggest to you it's under 2.
But,
yeah.
I mean, I get why he did it. And he was born out right. He lost by an amount that it would have never been made up by anything he put in those 2 spots.
Yeah.
Freaking defense, too, somehow.
As a person who always overcoaches, who always overthinks things and ends up always screwing it up, I'm sorry to say that maybe he's right.
Yeah, I don't know. In the end, he said he looked at it and saw he had Prescott,
and I know
Prescott, Elliott, and Witten, Cleveland.
And I know I was joking on the message board or just people that he should be fined or whatever, but if this is a legitimate move that wasn't due out of laziness or any type of negligence,
there was strategy to it.
There's strategy involved. I wouldn't have dropped Sammy Watkins. I'm going to tell you right now.
Well, he picked him up. That's what it was. He dropped a guy that he could have played.
Yes. Okay. My mistake, and I apologize about that.
It's interesting. I certainly don't know what it's like to have that cushion.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Not this year. All right.
All right. What's up next?
Rachel.
Freaking unbelievable output by Angela.
So let's talk about it. Let's look at this.
I mean, did anybody see 155 points from her coming?
No.
No.
But.
And now she's put up a couple good weeks in a row.
If Rodgers comes through, she wins.
Yeah,
Leroy, eat your hat. J.I. there. I feel if you were to convince me right now that the season starts over right here, we have a conversation about a J.I. being the number 1 overall pick.
No,
let it bother you.
It's tough to argue.
We've just had 3 solid weeks in a row here. I don't know what else to say. We also have something interesting here.
Rashard Matthews has been a revelation.
Rashard Matthews,
5 touchdowns in the last 5 weeks. He's been really good. Quietly, because he's not putting up monster scores. But this 21 was looking really good. She's got a couple steals with Rashard Matthews and Ajayi that no one would have ever thought of.
And Murray coming through on that last game.
Yeah, it didn't even matter, though.
But see, the thing with Matthews, though, I mean, he's only getting like 5 or 6 targets a game.
But he's making them count.
Oh, he definitely is. But, like, it's not going to last.
But how can you say that when he's done it for 5 straight weeks?
What do you want to put on it for this week? I don't even know who he's playing.
How about a school lunch?
I'll put Melvin Gordon's number 1 fantasy ranking on it.
Ooh, that was a burn, my friend. Come to think of that, well, we'll wait. Watch this. You ever see how like Phil Sims is like? Because I'm announcing it. I won't call this game. I'm announcing it. Go ahead.
All right. Well,
anyway, that was a surprise. Rachel dropped down to my level, which is got to be brutal for her. She took a hit with Macklin going out hurt. She had a brutal Mike Davis no-show. Rashad Jennings has been a massive bust. Yes. She once again made the mistake of sitting Tyrod Taylor. Just want to put that out there to be clear. True Bills fan would have never done such a thing. And she would have never won even if she played the perfect lineup.
but she does have Howard coming back this week. I mean,
he's been good. Out.
He's been real good.
All right. Well, JT, why don't you talk about your matchup?
Oh, he held off just for good measure, didn't he?
I mean, there's not much to say. I would have lost to almost everybody else in the league. I would have beat Brian, who was punting. I would have beat Rachel, who had a rough go of it, and I would have barely snuck in over my wife. But I ran into the right opponent. I didn't have a great week. I have a couple players who have been playing really well lately. Forte, and Winston's been good, but a couple good pickups. Lance Kendricks was good for me. Josh Lambo was good for me. Nah.
Can I make it not about you as much? Maybe just talk about Michael's team as much, Burn.
No,
And,
that's fine. I think that's why
what
I won.
want to talk about is what took place in the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game, because you guys have all this fancy internet TV, and I, of course, had to sit there and watch the deplorable game of.
It was a bad game.
Of Le'Veon Bell at Baltimore, and it was a very bad game. And then all of a sudden came through, and you're going to say to yourself, well, what is Ben Roethlisberger ineptitude, or what is going on in Pittsburgh have to do with Le'Veon Bell? It made it so he wasn't near the end zone.
The one rushing touchdown of the week ended up going to Ben.
Yeah, I don't know
goodness.
what happened there. They just are one of these teams that when I look at them and I watch them play, they're not buttoned up. They're inconsistent, and that I don't like.
I don't think Ben was as healthy. I think he's still better than Landry Jones.
But at the end, he shredded it.
Well, they went into a prevent because they were up 21.
And then still shredded it. I mean,
yeah.
I played him, by the way.
He probably warmed up a little
biting
bit.
my nails. I was convinced I had a loss because of Big Ben, and then at the end, and I do understand there's defense. There's a way to do it, but. Pittsburgh moves the ball in that game, and Michael Thomas gives
Le'Veon's not the only reason he lost. I think.
No, I don't blame
Le'Veon hurt. Dez has not really been paying off. Good week, one not so great week. Jonathan Stewart did nothing.
You know my opinion on this, Brian. I won't.
I do
go any further.
Rudolph was not much. He just didn't have any standout games.
Hey, New England, that third-round pick offer that they gave you for him might be worth it, Belichick. You're a great coach. Great drafter. Do it.
I don't know. I think I won because his team sucked, not because my team was good. But with that said, I am suddenly tied for one game behind the final playoff spot.
Yes.
I will not make the playoffs. My team's bad.
All right, Scron, let's talk about your game.
Okay. I will listen. It was a great game, but I'm not necessarily that interested in just this game. You got Julio tearing it up. You have I actually played the wrong quarterback, believe it or not.
I know.
Mariota scored far many points.
Yeah, he was better.
And as much as this sounds funny, though, Robinson, it's a little bit higher than he should get, like a little bit. But I want you to look at what he scored throughout this entire time.
It's a lot higher.
It's a lot higher, but compared to last year's numbers.
Oh, no, he hasn't lived up to last year at all.
He hasn't lived up to last year at all. It was a bad pick for me. Ingram was a surprise. I was just.
But you know what? I mean, yeah, you're mad at Robinson, but I mean, there's receivers across the board who have disappointed this year.
Yeah, and
Hopkins,
and I hit one of them, and you notice that
anybody in Cardinals,
those who have hit
Bryant.
Yeah.
Okay, but now here's what I'm going to say. Those who have hit those receivers are the teams who appear to be struggling in our league. We used early picks on them. We thought that they were dependable, and for the most part, they were. Well, what I would choose to address here is Ingram is an anomaly. I can't say that was – it was a great surprise for me.
I think you thought he was going to get benched this week.
Yes, I was
and
very
he came out with a 30.
And one thing I would like to discuss is a little bit of Melvin Gordon. I know Mr. Jake.
Big fan.
Had something to say about this. I'm sorry to say, Matt, I sat there, I watched him play. Listen, I think running back somewhat, it's a little bit of a crapshoot in all this, and who are we kidding? We're betting on fairy tale football. But in my mind, that did not look like a bad running back to me. Yards. He was involved in the passing game. I'm just sorry. He looked good, Matt.
No. Okay. Let me say something. He put up a monster week against a very good run defense.
He's
He
had
had
great
excellent
weeks.
weeks.
I'm sorry to say that this isn't just a 1 week thing.
He's had a wonderful year. But I stand by. If Woodhead did not get injured, he would not have the opportunity, and he would not be putting up the same numbers.
Agree, but he doesn't look like a bad player to me. Like when I look at this right now, I don't see him as a person who isn't playing well.
So,
matter of fact, I feel that he just probably kept the Chargers in San Diego, but that's a little bit hot take-esque, and I'm going to save that to the end.
They didn't vote for their stadium.
Oh, I didn't look
just
that
to
up.
be clear, they didn't vote
probably wisely.
Matt, I would say.
You want to hear a real hot take?
Go on.
The Las Vegas Chargers, the Oakland Raiders.
Interesting.
Ooh, it's a hot one. It's a hot one. But just looking at Melvin Gordon's numbers, if we really have to at this point, and again, JT said the number 1 on the percentile ranking, and I'm not. I don't even know. But
I own him in the other league. Like it's not like I'm like anti Melvin Gordon.
You sure sounded like it. He's been in double digits every week except one where he was a 9.
Listen, he's been great, and he had a very good week.
But I'm not talking about fantasy. I was never talking. He's having a great fantasy season.
But I'm sorry to say, I saw him play. That wasn't a bad player. I didn't say he was O.J. Simpson good.
All right.
But was good nonetheless.
Tamal, I understand your point for sure. And in the end, though, Joelle had a couple of her better players go on by. I don't think it would have made a difference. She lost by enough where it wouldn't have mattered.
Okay.
But she would have put up a better score. I don't think she can be too upset. There's not going to be too many 160s. She didn't have as much of a cushion. But I told Brian the same thing, and I'm telling her. The top 4 teams lost. That really ends up helping when you're going to take an L like this against a squad you were hoping not to lose to. But
burn.
Any game we're missing?
Nope, that's everybody.
Okay. Why don't we look at what's to come?
All right, I got Michael. We're both on 3-game losing streaks.
Okay. I want my real prediction here on this one. I think you're going to take it. I think in general you're a better team, and Michael Thomas. No disrespect here. I know you watch. You're one of my best friends in the world, but I think Matt's team will eventually prevail.
I hope so.
Speak about this.
Michael has a good team.
He's solid. He's very knowledgeable about football. I'm not calling him any slouch or anything. And like I said, one of my comrades, partners in crime. But I think that your team really is good, and it's time for you to end the skid.
But I think if Michael's team, if he can get his players to put it together on the same week, I would say Michael might have the best team in the league.
And to be quite frank with you, if Le'Veon Bell and Ben Roethlisberger show up here, thank you, sir, he could take you. No doubt. I'm just calling you.
Yeah, it's a tough go of it for the last couple weeks for him. I can't look at many matchups and not favor you when I've seen what you've done all year.
Yes. But listen, the Le'Veon one could pull through for him on this one. It's been a little iffy for him.
Matt, you had a tiny bit of news today. I'm assuming you saw it. There was a player of yours that had surgery.
Yes, D'Angelo.
Yeah, kind of a surprise. With
Le'Veon, he's been dealing with that knee injury for a while.
Yeah, but you didn't think he was having surgery.
No, he's only supposed to be out 2-3 weeks.
I know, but Le'Veon could go down at any time, and we've seen how valuable D'Angelo.
Yes, I agree. And in the famous words,
that's the only reason I'm keeping him.
Okay, Lee Barnett, you never know with Le'Veon when the left-handed cigarettes will catch up with him.
That's right.
All right, let's move on to our next game. Casey against Rich.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Rich more so than Casey, because we all know that Casey doesn't watch.
Or so he claims he does.
It's funny. you have a dog bowl here?
It's interesting because right now we can actually look at what's happening. And there's a couple guys playing right now while we're speaking. Rich has Crowell and Mike Wallace going. It's halftime. Neither one of them's done very much. It looks like it's been a very boring game. Casey has nobody going. I mean, right now, I think it's got to go towards Casey. Pittsburgh doesn't look like they have an incredible defense. Dallas has been on a roll.
You know, and one of the things with Casey is this. As much as I do make fun of him,
good team.
His team is fantastic. I could argue it's the best one. I don't understand this playing Alex Smith thing. He'll have to explain this to me other than it's just easy. And then this week he didn't. And I do see, if you want me to tell you a squad that I just don't drink the Kool-Aid on, or maybe something else, it would certainly be Pittsburgh's defense.
See, now,
who I buy into. I'm just sorry. I know that the Dallas is going on the road. And as a matter of fact, I heard the spread for this is up. Dallas is favored by like 5 or 6 points. Wow. And I would take that bet. By the way, if you're a bet DSI type of fella, I'd take that one.
Now, Rich has Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the practice reports from today, but he was still wearing the non-contact jersey.
He didn't practice today.
And he has no one.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of those ones that when I saw him playing Ohio State under Urban Meyer's offense, I thought fantastic. I just haven't been able to drink the Kool-Aid on him.
Yeah, but Tamala's got a good point because if he doesn't, then who does he
have?
drop?
Okay, so we're playing very
I guess he drops DeAndre Washington and goes after somebody else, but there's not much out there. He's in trouble. I think Rich is going to have a hard time this week, especially knowing that in the first half he got a combined 7 from 2 guys. You're going to want more than that.
It would certainly be helpful if Crowell could just take one in for him. That's all I'm saying.
Why is Rich carrying 2 kickers?
The same could be asked of anybody who's carrying 2 kickers. I think it's got to be an oversight. I don't know.
I mean, one of the things I'll say is, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn at all, but like I was, I had to lose my kicker over the bye, and I was absolutely shocked to see like Dan Bailey on there.
Kickers are available.
But that's what I mean. Like, but I think you can almost make the same argument with defenses, and I think that maybe you could make that same argument again to Brian, who seems to be in love with a kicker. And
but again, he was writing off the week, so it didn't matter. If you're writing it off, write it off. Speaking of Brian, let's look at his game next, Ma.
And this is a very interesting matchup. He has Angela, who's put up some huge
numbers.
Yeah, but hit by some buys real bad, and she has no depth.
Real bad.
And who is she playing? Like, let's discuss right now. What does she have at wide receiver? She didn't play Steve Smith, which I think probably could have been an okay.
I think that's a mistake because right now she's going to play who?
Okay, you're right. I hate to say
she just wasn't paying attention.
Here's what she does. She puts in Torrey Smith and slides Rashard Matthews up, I guess.
Yeah.
But then that leaves the flex open to.
Well, I don't know. She makes some ad drops. None of those.
I feel that we have a mistake here, Ange, and I know sometimes you watch. I'm just going to tell you that.
That's tough on that Thursday night when there's a bye.
But Steve Smith's been hurt too. I mean, that's not that. I mean, he's come back the past 2 games, but nothing great.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but
kind of forget about him.
You've played players in a pinch yourself, my friend.
He's not great, but I don't know if she had a better alternative. The only thing she's got going for her is that Brian did play Corey Coleman coming back from that broken hand, and it's early. There's still a whole half to go, but only a 2.7 to start, and he's getting hit by some buys too.
Yeah, he is.
He loses, Golden Tate, Crabtree, and Gore. That's a.
And we have to be realistic here. As a whole, I'm sorry to say, can't drink it.
He's been better than you thought he was, though.
Better than I thought. I know.
He's talking about Gurley,
I'm talking about Gurley, and I'm so sorry because we're both here.
So he's bringing up the numbers, and I think he was expecting to see a lot of.
I expected to see less than I saw.
You did,
believe it or not.
Yeah, I could see it in your face,
and I was kind of like.
Yeah.
I mentioned didn't drink the Kool-Aid before I saw the number.
Yep. But Tamala, I think Brian's going to end up running away with this just due to Angela's lack of depth. I think if there were a straight-up matchup, no buys involved, we might have an interesting match on our hands.
Rodgers just light it up.
Angela, she's been very good. Like, you pick up a player and you're like, why is she picking up this guy? And it's tended to work out for her.
Agreed.
I just think it's slim pickings right now.
I think it's.
I'm not saying I disagree with you, but like
playing Smith would have, or pardon me, playing Steve Smith would have been a wise move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right.
What's next?
Rachel against Joelle. Rachel actually has 3 players playing tonight. I like to stay away from the Thursday night games if possible. I mean, they just.
Well, we can't. Man, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We can't go any further without discussing the quarterback situation.
She's got Carson
right
Palmer.
now.
She picked him up. She'll be fine.
Okay, my bad. You knew I didn't read.
I knew that you saw that they both had a bye. She loses Luck and Tyrod, which, thank God, she doesn't have to bench Tyrod again.
But Carson Palmer against San Francisco, I don't think is.
I think that's a great.
Really bad at home. Like I could see,
he's been better lately, and San Francisco's been atrocious. I think that. I mean, look, he had 26 last week.
Do you mean atrocious? Chip telling you job atrocious?
I have no idea.
You love that.
I'm interested to see what Jordan Howard does. He's had some wonderful weeks and he's had some terrible weeks.
Yeah.
Playing against Tampa Bay, you would think it would be a good week, but you never know.
All right, here's another thing that she's got going against her. Deshaun Jackson just got announced as out.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Quietly
in the flex. Macklin's not going to play either.
Yeah.
Wow. So she's really hurting on.
And she doesn't have a wide receiver she can play.
Saying like she's gonna have to make some moves, and like Harris, I'm surprised she doesn't have in right now.
But it involves Hyde.
Yeah,
it involves Hyde. You know what though? I could argue this. I want any one of you to promise me Hyde's in.
I know. Well, she's got a few of those because Spencer Ware's in the same boat.
And one of the things with Deshaun is, I'm sorry to say this, is quietly. Now, Washington's offense, and I understand there was a very big week, has actually been sneaking up on you as one of the better offenses in football.
Yeah, they've been good.
If they only had a running
game. It doesn't look great. I get it. It's not as sexy as Dez Bryant bringing it into the end zone. Bye-bye, former future New England Patriot. Go ahead, Matt.
They can't do it. They can't run it. They can't find a consistent run game.
They also haven't found a consistent fantasy football run.
I look at this matchup, and I actually think my wife has a slight advantage because of Rachel's buys and injuries.
One thing that's going against your wife, though, is does Breeze get the numbers against Denver?
Yeah, that could hurt.
Do they pin their ears back like they
that
did
could hurt.
Against,
but right now, looking at it, Rachel's 3 players, 14, 5.
Okay.
That's
and
nobody's winning there, but I'd always take the less players.
Now, I don't know if Denver has the top 2 corners coming back this week. But New Orleans is playing at home, and they're a different team at home.
Yes, that's true.
It'll be that'll be a great game.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one to watch. A great offense with a defense like that. We have Sean Payton, the future USC coach. We'll see how this goes. Sorry to bring in several small hot takes.
All right, Tamalo, let's go to the next one.
All right, next
I think
week, Scarano and Jake.
Yeah. All right, listen, man. I've said throughout this year, or throughout just about everything, that Jake is I'm predicting him to win it.
All right.
What I'm going to say that I'm looking at right now, and this is what I'm going to say. I have Trevor Siemian as his quarterback here.
Yikes.
He could play Cousins maybe. I don't know.
Minnesota.
Carr's on the bye. I'm almost saying that if he's going to lose one, I think it's here.
He is still projected to beat you.
Yeah, what's the number?
By like 4 points. 4 points.
4 points. I'm going to say that's reasonable here.
But now Ingram against Denver. I think he'll have a good game. Gordon, I think will have a
Really?
good game against Miami. Julio is going to destroy Philadelphia.
You're being very doom and gloom against your poor team.
And one thing I will say, and I'll warn Jake about this, is that those flex positions, they could change if I get a little
bored on Sunday morning.
Hair up my behind, or start thinking too much, which is what the latter will probably be the case.
But now, Jake has a lot of questionables. I think they'll all play, except for maybe Williams against Miami.
Yeah, I saw a lot of
the late game.
And Scrano's got none.
Yeah, and
what I'm going to say is
the Redskins going against the Minnesota offense, which
he's a better team than I. But I don't think any one of you fellas here could say that, he has this one in the bag.
I would be surprised if he doesn't end up playing Ty Montgomery this week.
Okay.
James Starks may come back, though.
Oh, yeah, or Bernard, for that matter.
Do you know Starks is from Niagara Falls, New York?
Yeah.
Hate to bring that up.
UB grad.
University of Buffalo.
Tamala, I think Jake runs into the problem of having too many good players.
And could make me make a poor choice.
I mean, he's got Coleman, if he comes back, possibly on the bench, Montgomery and Bernard on the bench. And I'm not sure who he sits.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a good. See, I don't know. Like, that's especially when we were a 10-team league. Like,
Yes.
you have the concept of handcuffing, right?
Do you understand, though, what I think, where I feel Jake's big problem is, though, is if I could just get one of my guys to put something up and Carr goes and Carr is on bye, I think that could be where I take him. Now, I'm in a little bit of a predicament myself. I'm pretty sure I'm playing Roethlisberger, but not 100%. Mariota has had some great weeks. Sorry. And no disrespect to any Packers fans.
Didn't he get hurt? Didn't he leave the game for a little bit?
I don't have him as any type of questionable or anything to that extent. So.
I think he's all right. Well, what were you saying about the handcuffs, though?
Okay, so, I mean, and this went back more to when we were a 10-team league. But, like, why should I handcuff a player when I could have a proven starter on the bench instead? Deeper 12 teams with deeper benches. You get into a little bit of why handcuffs are important, but I mean, handcuffs don't always do it.
Tamala, though, what else I'd like to discuss with that, though, and this we definitely have to consider your point. I agree with you, first thing, but we also have to consider the idea that the league has changed a little bit. Running backs split it up a little bit. Like, it's not as clear. Like, I remember years ago where you could say this is the starting running back, and I would say essentially on almost half the teams. Maybe that's not that clear.
Yeah, my thought here, Tamala, is that I agree with you, but I don't think there are many teams in our league that I feel great about their bench. I'd say there's 3 or 4, and it ends up being the teams that are good because you can fill in spots. But now that the buys are over, or at least coming to the conclusion, and some things are solidifying themselves, I think some of those teams are going to have tough choices, and they may make the right ones, and it may not matter because their teams are so good, but that could be really crappy to have to make some calls and on the bench.
Okay.
That's
all
all.
Right. All right. I like it.
We got one more.
Yeah. This is your game, JP.
Yeah.
You against Colin, and actually, looking right now, the projected total is 107.7 for Colin and 107 for you.
Really? Oh, really?
I would feel great losing by a fractional number. I wouldn't know what that's like.
Your question is that I have for you, JT, is let's talk quarterback with you.
No question this week.
Okay.
Bortles going against Houston. Houston's got a good pass defense. Jameis has been good. Chicago's not a great pass defense.
Yes.
Now my dog's in here.
Why? Hey, yeah, he's part of the podcast. He'll have a team next year. I'm sorry. Henley and I are the same gender. As a matter of fact, I just went in the other bathroom. Never mind. Don't want to bring anything political here. You know how I am.
I don't know. I think Winston's my choice here this week for sure.
But now,
Okay, I agree with you. Here's something I'm going to say about Bortles. This is what I'm going to say. Sneakier better than you'd think.
You said three good weeks.
Okay, I am in a team where I'm 8-1, and I've started him every week I could.
I hate watching him play.
I know it's very frustrating, and he doesn't. He's bad. That's what's getting you. He's bad. Man, it's almost your Melvin Gordon argument, Matt.
I think Colin is interesting. You look at his running backs. McKinnon,
Or lack thereof.
Ivory, Henry, Starks, Gibbs, even Robert Kelly. No one I would consider a number one.
What I find to be an interesting,
even I would say low end number two.
Let's talk it. Does
But they're all about the same.
Brady? Does pretty boy Tom Brady actually bring it home for him?
Very well could be.
Yeah, Seattle's defense didn't look amazing. I mean, Tyrod put up a great score.
Are they one of the ones that
name only?
Well, I mean, I look at it like this. Did you know this, JT? If I told you this, you're probably gonna say I'm wrong or whatever, and it's fine because you know how you are.
Who scored?
The Bills controlled the ball for 40 minutes that game.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's a good defense. Does not let another team's offense control the. No, I mean,
especially at home and not a great offense.
As I've said, the Bills find ways to lose. Seattle finds ways to win. That's essentially what you have there.
What were you gonna say, Jamal?
Who scored for Cleveland?
I don't know.
You mean like this week? Like right now?
Baltimore just scored with a Flacco 4-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, but
I think
it's 13-7.
I'll tell you in a second here.
So what I'm saying is that okay, Cleveland finds a way to win, and then this will go back to Rex Ryan talking about Richard Sherman on the thing, and Pete Carroll saying coach your own team and everything like that. He found a way to win.
Tamala, it was a no-name receiver touchdown pass. Valve.
I was hoping for Pryor.
You teach reading?
I was hoping for Pryor too, but yeah, man, I don't know. I don't feel great about any matchup, but the fact that I'm one game out of the playoffs is ridiculously stupid.
Yeah, I think Colin's going to have a sneaky big game from his wide receivers.
Yeah, good matchups.
Good matchups.
Nelson, they talked about how he's still getting healthy. I think they're working him more into the offense.
You know, one of the ones I have was again looking at it weeks, but burned me on a couple weeks in another league is Nelson. I don't know.
But then you also have Diggs
on the road. I don't know.
Last week they kind of force-fed the ball a little bit. Schumer taking over in Minnesota, which was a whole weird situation there.
Weird. And, I had them as a team I drank the Kool-Aid on. And as a matter of fact, a team that I almost was predicting to win the NFC at this point, and I can't quite do it.
I'll tell you this. I think that this week may come down to what happens with Doug Martin, because I have Peyton Barber right now, and I really don't want to play both of them. I'm already playing two Jets running backs. I don't.
JT, do you really think he's going to come back? Like honest to goodness, tell me what's your point? Because I have him in another league, and I say no.
I think he's going to play.
Okay,
I just don't know how much.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how much he's going to play.
I don't mean to burst your bubble or anything.
I don't know if he's going to be a starter or if he's
a participant in practice the past 2 days. I think we're good with him.
He's never like a person.
I think
like 8 weeks.
Yeah,
and you know what? I mean, who's ever been the Tampa Bay running back has produced.
Well, except for freaking Anton Smith last week, who I had
break his leg
in the fourth quarter after he scored a 4.2 after fumbling twice.
Well, there's a reason he's a backup of a backup of a backup.
Yeah, well,
it probably is. He had more carries in that game than he had in his entire career, practically.
Kind of like that.
Kind of a strange stat. All right, before we finish up, there are two quick things. I did not hit the power rankings this week because I don't. I don't know where to begin. There's too many teams that are kind of all muddled together. I looked at it more as tiers instead of specific rankings.
Yes.
So I just kind of put there is a bottom tier that I think clearly stands out. And interestingly enough, I don't know if I put Scarano in anymore. I think he's leaped out of there.
I have the longest winning streak right now. My numbers have actually improved. I think I can make an argument that my destiny is in my own hands here, and I could technically make the playoffs. And as soon as I'm in the playoffs, forget every record you've seen and everything I've done.
I have 3 teams in the bottom tier. I have me, I have Angela, and I have Rachel. We have the three of the worst records, not the only 3 with that record, but I don't look at either of those teams as making the playoffs. I think there's too many things that need to happen. The next squad up, I have Michael, I have Scarano, and I have Rich. I have those 3 in the next group up. They have a chance. They have teams that can put up real good scores some weeks. And as Tamala find out from Rich and Scarano showed my wife last week, you can put up great numbers, but there is zero consistency from their players, and they could just as easily lose on any given week. The next tier up, I have.
I would throw Colin into that tier too.
I have him borderline on that tier. The only reason I move Colin up is because of Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a consistent 30 every week, and there's very few quarterbacks you can get that from. You know, Rich maybe get it from Matt Ryan, but there's just not much.
And Matt Ryan is one of those ones that I'm waiting. Like, I hate to say this, like, and I know you're going to say, what statistics do you have to back this up? And it's past years and it's past performance, but it's just one of those ones where I'm like, this is going to screw up.
Yeah, well, all right. And the reason I also have Colin a little higher in that, what would be the second tier, top tight end, and like you said, Jordy coming on, Diggs getting a ton of targets. He has no running backs, but ton of opportunity for one of these backs to take over. You know, he's got 6 backs. He needs one of them to become a starter via injury to others, via, you know, some sort of stroke of luck. If he has that happen, he's a legit team.
And by the way, as much as his percentile ranking is down, Kobe Fleener, who I think I might have even had at one point this year.
I think everybody did.
I could see this working.
He's been okay. So
okay,
I have
Colin
kind of wavering between tier 3 and tier 2, but you know, he's based on me just splitting it into groups of 3. He's in tier 2. Okay. He is hanging out there with you and Casey. I think you and Casey are definitely the cream of that crop, standing above Colin a little bit. I have you still above Casey, but I really like both your squads. I think you will both definitely make the playoffs. I don't worry about either of you making it. I would be shocked if either of you didn't, in fact.
Yeah, Tamal, I feel you're going a little bit hard on yourself. I think you're going to come back with a win this week, and I genuinely do think that better teams win in general.
Yep. Brian and Jake have the 2 top squads in the league right now. I think Joelle is coming in 3rd in that top tier. I think she still got those 7 wins, and even with a couple big guys out on bye, she put up a pretty good score last week of 106.
And although Joelle is my good friend, if I were to be concerned, if I were to say we're going to start checking IDs in the bar,
yeah,
and we're going to say, is there anyone who's under 21? It's just like the Washington Huskies, it might be her.
I think she's built up
we've
enough.
Said that all season long.
I know.
Yep, I know.
I think she's built up enough of a cushion where if she gets 1 or 2 wins, she's in. I don't know if
she's in the playoffs. Oh, yeah. I'm not denying any of that.
Well,
I'm just saying when we start to look at pretenders and contenders, I could see where this could go south.
Okay. No, I agree. I think that those are where our tiers are at. I think this week's going to start to sort it out. Guys, how many weeks do we have before the playoffs start?
Isn't it?
Is it 13?
13.
13.
It's 13, and we are at week what? 10?
No, this is week 10.
So
this is pretty serious here. These games matter.
4 weeks left.
Yeah.
This is a little bit. You know what? I'm sorry. It's just that I never put it into perspective, JT, and I apologize.
That we have 4 weeks left?
Well, then I didn't realize that it's this pressing in time.
It's getting down there.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple people that could be in some serious trouble if they lose this week. It might start to knock them into.
Oh, I think their name might begin with mine.
I don't think it's. I think it's the 3 and 6 teams.
Okay.
I think if the 3 and 6 teams lose, I think they're basically done. So if Rachel, me, or Angela loses, we may be eliminated from the playoffs. That's some sort of miracle. I don't think anybody else is officially eliminated yet, but I think those 3, we could be down 3 games with 3 to go. That's really unlikely.
That's bad. Oh, yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right, we want to wrap it up.
We're going to wrap it up here. Guys, for this week, I'm going to do something a little bit strange. Because I'm with JT here, I'm going to let him do the hot take. Go ahead, JT.
Oh, all right. This is what I've been waiting for my whole life. All righty.
He just wanted to get another beer, didn't he?
Yeah. It's like the Verizon bars. It steadily goes up each time. So, you know, some people are going to hear this and they're going to think it's strictly Bills related. And I'm not going to say it's not spurred on by that. But this past week was yet another example of an absolutely deplorable referee work. I mean, the end of the first half in that Seattle Bills game was unlike anything I've ever seen. And I've heard that from every side. And it's not the only thing. You go to the Julio Jones pass interference. You go to some of the absolutely absurd pass interference or lack thereof calls we've seen all throughout the league. I'm sure every fan can cite some time where refs easily could have taken a call up to the booth. Everyone would have seemed to agree, no problem, and we could have avoided this mess. But somehow, the refs consistently can't get it right and make weird calls, even with the ability to have a replay. We are in an age where that should not happen anymore. And as a result, I believe we need to make a change. We need to make a change.
Hope and change we can depend on. Referees, a flag has been thrown. You're fired. Better yet, Roger Goodell, you're fired. You have consistently been on the wrong side of every decision that could be made. You're taking a cash cow and made it go down by 15%. Your fault. A flag has been thrown on you. I don't blame Richard Sherman. I blame you, sir.
Travis Kelce.
So we ask ourselves, who could possibly be the new commissioner?
Who could it be?
Who could it be?
Do you have any ideas?
I might have a couple of ideas. Who was the young lady who won Celebrity Apprentice that one time? That lovely young one who was campaigning for me. What was her name?
Oh, so you're thinking perhaps a person of color? A person interested in football?
Fantastic.
Oh, I know. Maybe Omarosa?
Omarosa. Lovely young lady. Never fired her, but I don't know. I vote for this. Condoleezza Rice. On the college commission for who makes the playoffs. Roger Goodell, you're fired. Condoleezza Rice, you're hired. I'm with her. Hang out. We'll wait for the rebuttal here, my friend.
What is the purpose of the commissioner?
To make sure the league runs smoothly.
Incorrect.
I disagree with you.
To make the owners happy.
Absolutely. And every time they're not talking about the owners, they're talking about the commissioner.
I don't think the owners can be happy with what they've seen.
Matt, we're in the day of modern technology. You're a technology teacher. This could go to a person's earpiece and just say the call has been overruled from New York City. Done.
It does seem strange, man. I mean,
nobody needs to go under a hood, and that's all made up.
Who could sit there and not have seen the Julio Jones pass interference? Who could sit there and not have seen that Richard Sherman blatantly broke the rules? He slammed it in the kicker. That we wasn't even trying to block it.
to his knee.
He wasn't even trying to block it. There's something strange going on.
Yeah, I don't blame. No. The officiating has been terrible, but I don't blame Goodell for that.
Oh, no.
Listen, I'll be honest. I didn't necessarily blame Goodell either, but we just had to
starting
skit.
with Goodell, though. We're starting there. You don't blame him for Ray Rice. You don't blame him for the other problems we've seen. I'm sorry. This is a cash cow.
Well,
it's hard to not make the money, and it's down by 15%. Come on, man.
I think that there's this, Matt. I agree with you that his job is to make the owners happy, but I think when fans consistently watch refs screw up and can't have as much faith in the fact that they're going to make a call that makes sense, I do think that there will be some fans.
And to be frank, you're too blatantly stupid to even address it.
But like, I don't think the owners want to make any major changes.
Minus 15.
I don't think this is major.
15. That's what I'm going to say.
Just have somebody sitting there that's just radio in. You don't need to go to.
We don't need to go to a hood. We don't need to go to an earpiece. We don't need to do all this. Matt, you're
okay. No. So you pay someone. What are you paying someone? $30,000 a year?
Oh, an NFL official? Over 200,000.
All right, so 200,000 times 16. That's $3 million.
Man,
drop in the bucket.
A drop in the bucket? Are you kidding me? What's the TV deal with CBS? Isn't it?
How many of these owners do you think if they see a penny on the ground, they still stop and pick it up?
Yeah,
you don't become a billionaire by throwing away money like that.
Yeah, but
what do you mean by throwing away money? What does this cost you?
You don't stay a billionaire if you don't fix your product when it's broken.
I
think the NFL is in decline. I think it's going to be a problem. I think this is one of many symptoms of a major illness.
Oh, I don't necessarily disagree with you. But I don't think I think they want to put these little Band-Aids on that make it look good and there's no real change going forward.
That may be fair.
I don't necessarily know if you need a big change. I think
that Goodell's just doing what he's being told by the owners.
Using the existing technology that you have. Why does the person who throws the flag have that much authority?
Yeah, this is balls and strikes in baseball too.
Yeah. Yes,
we could do this all night, but we should probably let the audience go. If you've made it through this, I'm impressed by you.
I don't think we've had a single viewer live.
Well, they're tuning in later. That's what I've heard.
Yes,
it's the West Coast viewers that we really get.
So wait. Storano, come up with a secret word.
I have one in my mind. Do you want me to say it?
Say it.
Trumpet.
All right. The first 5 people who say the word trumpet will get a free beer at the draft next year.
Wow.
Oh,
trumpet.
Trumpet.
Nice. I love this game. This is great. What else can we play?
No, so let's see who's watching.
At this point?
And text it to the group text. Text the word trumpet.
Damn, I'll be shocked if anybody made it this far. You deserve more than the beer. Probably get a hand job from Mike.
That's live, by the way. And everyone assumed it always.
And nobody made it far enough. All right, Tamala. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you making this happen a little later.
Yeah, no problem.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Later. Hopefully we'll have you here next time.